Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Still with you on today's edition of The Breakfast Show. And of course, today a very important event is taking place under the patronage of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, President of the United Arab Emirates. The grand celebration activities organized by Egypt and the UAE as they celebrate their 50th anniversary of UAE-Egyptian relations. Of course, the event comes with the aim of strengthening strong ties as well as relations extending for more than 5 decades and formulating a more cooperative and accomplished future between the two countries in various areas. We're delighted now to be joined over the telephone by our guest for this morning, His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. A very good morning to you, Mr. Ambassador.
Good morning to you and to our audience.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Ambassador. Now, could you start by talking to us a bit about the importance of the Emirati-Egyptian relations and the keenness of the two nations and their leadership to accelerate these ties?
We look to the Emirates always as a part of our dream for Arab solidarity.
Yes.
And we look to the recent history because the Emirates and some other very dear Arab countries look forward for their independence since 50 years. And Egypt was, of course, the largest support of the aims of this dear and brotherly country.
Yes.
The relation between the late establisher of this emirate and our leader, Gamal Abdel Nasser, was a sort of an example of very good relations. Of course, in the relations between countries, even brother countries, there were some years of differences or some problems here and there. With the Emirate, we never have a problem. We never had a problem at all. And even during the Arab differences against the peace process and the agreement between Egypt and our neighbor, the Emirates stand still to be a good partner, an arbitrator, a power to bring solidarity among Arab world. And
Indeed.
they continue to play this very important role.
Absolutely.
Now, recently, we are glad that, of course, brothership is very good, but it will be much more important when it comes to realize our interests, both of us, to be better, to develop our relations in the economic field, in the cultural field, in the social field. And we are proud that our community, the Egyptian community, which is helping the Emirate in its development and its economic process, is one of our most eminent groups of Egyptians living abroad. We aim to make it even larger because they serve the Emirates, they serve the Egyptian economy also.
Yes.
So the future in front of us is very good, and we hope that we are taking all the opportunities in order to cross any challenge we are facing nowadays.
Absolutely. Mr. Ambassador, let me ask you about, how you view the leadership's views and the leadership's aim to really accelerate the pace of cooperation and expand it to include various vital sectors in the upcoming period, especially in light of all the global challenges now, facing all the countries around the world.
Of course, we are facing on the international level
Yes.
several problems, such as what the corona did to us. It was very bad to our tourism, to the transport, to the airway traffic. So it affects all our economies. Then now we have the Ukrainian war, where it affects two sectors, the energy and the food.
Yes.
In the energy, thank God that we are energy producer. The food, we immediately start to find other sources to cover our food needs. So coordination among Arabs is very important. And I think I always give the meeting in Jeddah a few months ago between the 6 Arab states, the 6 Arab Gulf states, and Egypt, Iraq, and Jordan to meet the president of the United States was a good example of success, because here the coordination created an Arab front to face any proposals which is not in our interest. And I call it that time that some friends in the international field are pointing to the wrong enemy, where the proposal coming from the United States was to establish an Arab NATO against Iran. And immediately the Egyptian Minister of Foreign Affairs refused this, and the whole 9 Arab countries refused it. And we obliged the President of the United States to change his offer in order to solve our main problem, which is the Palestinian question. Many things like that, it would put us in better situation politically, economically, socially. And I want to see our community in Emirates and in the Arab world to be tripled and doubled. Also, investment is a problem in the Arab world, because up till now we have a sort of unregularized distribution of investment. We invest a lot on services, on tourism, on banking, and by 80%. 9% of our investments is going only to industry, 2% to agriculture and food needs of the Arab world. We want to agree upon these matters. Also, we have another challenge, that the Arabs and the Egyptians are investing abroad much more than they invest in their own countries. And we have to change this attitude. Many things like that. I think the coordination among the Arab leaders, especially Egypt and the Emirates and the Saudi Arabia, is very important.
Indeed, especially because they have a very strategic relationship with regards to investments and trade fields between these countries. Mr. Ambassador?
Yes.
Right.
Sorry.
I'd like to thank you very, very much, Mr. Ambassador. Gamal Bayoumi, the former Assistant Foreign Minister. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your time and for joining us on today's edition of The Breakfast Show. Ladies and gentlemen, do stay tuned. We'll be right back after this short break.